Snap fail. Awesome.
Aren't we funny?
Today we're discussing, let's try that again. Go, G. Number 2.
Camera 3?
Yeah, what episode is this? 6.
It's a good thing we're professionals here.
For God's sake. Okay.
What are you laughing at?
But did you ever disappear into your imagination as a booker in a forge?
Clap. 1, 2, 3. That was the best one ever.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 10 of Nights at the Round Table. Today we're discussing the film Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl, which was released in cinemas in 2003. Basic plot is blacksmith Will Turner teams up with eccentric pirate Captain Jack Sparrow to save his love from Jack Sparrow's former pirate crew. First impressions of the movie, guys. Who wants to go first?
First impressions of the movie. It was awesome. I love pirates. I love Jack Sparrow. He's so me, so it's brilliantly brilliant. It doesn't have the cinematic seriousness of things like Master and Commander, which I completely loved, but it's an entertaining movie. Completely entertaining.
I haven't seen it since it came out, so when I rewatched it, I was really impressed at how well the visuals survived over 11 years now. I really enjoyed it the first time, and I still really enjoy it. I prefer my movies a little bit more on the silly side.
Despite the fact that I prefer my entertainment on the darker side, I really enjoyed this film. When I first went to see it, I hadn't seen any trailers or anything, and I was expecting a horror film almost because of the talk of the zombie pirates, etc. And I was in a really foul mood, and I just wanted to see people get beheaded and skewered and all that kind of stuff. And then it turned out to be one of the funniest things I think I had seen in quite a while, and I laughed my way through the movie and came out feeling way better than if I had seen everybody slaughtered. So it has a special place with me, this movie. I like it very much. It is very entertaining, not deep or meaningful or very thought-provoking, but it is a really good ride, worth the watch. Anybody want to add anything before we jump into the characters? Or the acting?
I think the whole tone of the movie was pretty much set when Jack's, on his little dinghy boat, the one sail contraption, he's coming in and he just lets it sink into the harbor. Then,
Best entrance I think I have ever seen for any character ever. I laughed so hard, but I would say that the turn of the movie was set way earlier, when Will Turner was in the house waiting to give the sword to the governor, and he turns around and he inspects the wool sconce and it breaks off, and he just sort of hides it in the umbrella bin thing. That's, I think, set the turn of the movie, and it took me by surprise when I was sitting there. But yeah, Jack Sparrow's entrance, brilliant. Great big swell of heroic music, and then you just see this horrible boat sinking slowly towards the dock. It was great.
It's like, it's a shilling to tie up your boat at the dock. He's like, and I'll need your name. How about it's 3 shillings and no names. Yeah. And then he steals the guy's purse.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I liked about Jack is he's not. It might seem on the surface that he's ridiculously lucky and he just comes out of scrapes just because, but he's actually extremely clever, savvy even, and he's very opportunistic and extremely flexible, so no matter what is thrown at him, he's always working. And that, I think, was in sharp contrast to the Jack of later Pirates, which shall not be named, where he did just sort of fumble his way through, but in this one, he was super sharp.
He was a little like the early Indiana Jones, where he would see everything in advance and just go for it.
Yeah.
And you can see his mind working whenever something came up.
Yeah, and that's, I think...
In this one, they very much go out of their way to portray Jack as, yes, he's a pirate, but he's not a bad guy.
No.
Contrasting him to the rest of his, mutinous crew. Yes, he's a pirate and he'll steal your treasure, but he was constantly giving Will relationship advice through the whole story.
If you were waiting for the opportune moment, that was it.
But every time Captain Jack gave advice and someone followed it, it worked out. Whenever they didn't follow it, it didn't work out.
Mm.
So it really proves that he's smarter than he acts.
Yeah, exactly. Really clever. He was, I think, my favorite character. Yes.
Well, speaking of the relationship advice, I had a hard time with Will.
What, because he was too good?
Yeah, well, he's in the governor's mansion, and it's very obvious that the governor's daughter, Elizabeth, is very into him, and he won't even call her by her name, and he's too proper, and that just lost me for his character right there.
Yeah, that's part of the character arc, right? Is that he becomes much less and less sort of angelic and virtuous and...
Yeah, but right off the beginning, it put me squarely in Jack's camp.
Oh, yeah, I was squarely in Jack's camp.
Obviously,
he appeared on the
that's the
screen and that ridiculous bird. Yeah, I found Orlando Bloom, in some instances, was a little overacty.
I think that's just in contrast to Legolas, where there was no acting.
Where there was...
It was just him standing there going, why does everyone else have good lines?
No, I don't know. Like when he confronts Jack at the...
Oh, the whole, I am not a pirate!
And he sort of grabs the bars and goes,
Yeah.
never. And I'm like, really? Trying to... Brilliant. Sorry, Orlando. You're gorgeous, but... And that took me out of the movie a little bit.
But got better midway through.
Yeah, well, see, I
More
get
likable,
that.
and yeah.
Exactly.
When he finally accepted, okay, fine, my
Yes.
father's a pirate,
And
let's do this.
Yeah, have to put away all the propriety to save Elizabeth.
Then a lot of guys are genuinely more likable once they've got the girl because they're happier.
That's true.
The guys who haven't got the girl yet and they're hurting inside can be real. Anyway, saying.
In movies.
Of course, what were we talking about?
There were a couple of cliches that made me roll my eyes in this film. The two guards guarding the... what's her name? The Interceptor?
Yes.
The two idiots. They were amusing, but they were so cliche, I was just like, oh, really? Also, the guards at Port Royal can't hit anything. I'm pretty sure they're all stormtroopers.
Okay, well, in their defense, I have actually fired a musket.
Oh, and it's not terribly accurate?
Okay, back then, it was believed that you were a good shot if you could hit a white bed sheet.
Really?
From how far?
Not very.
So I remember hearing the little pistols are good for about 15, 20 maximum.
Yeah.
Feet? Or...
Yeah, feet.
So, marksmanship. I was actually really okay with the marksmanship in this movie, from a weapon standpoint.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
One thing that I enjoyed, I watched a lot of other pirate movies beforehand. Captain Blood was one of them, which is an amazing Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone 1935 movie.
Really?
It's one of the bases for the ride was the book Captain Blood. So it's in Tortuga, it's in Port Royal,
Oh,
and
really?
it was really entertaining to watch and to see the influences between the two.
That's cool. Wait, so the movie that the ride was based on was...
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes. No. The movie that the ride in Disney was based upon, you're saying it's black.
One of them, yeah. It's one of the earlier pirate novels that influenced the whole. You start out in Jamaica, there's Tortuga, there's pirates, versus, yeah.
Alright. See, I did not know this. Pirates are not my thing.
One other thing that influenced the actual Pirates of the Caribbean movie was a script that was commissioned by Disney but thrown out and then rewritten. It was a script based off of the old adventure video game by LucasArts, Monkey Island.
I love Monkey Island!
And
It's a freaking rubber banana tree!
the writer for Monkey Island's script was then hired for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, that
So you can
explains why it
see-
was so funny.
You can see little bits of Monkey Island in Pirates. So the Death Island that has the skull is just like
Yes.
in Monkey Island.
Yes.
Guy Brush Threepwood, which is basically Orlando Bloom's character. The major difference is that Swan isn't the governor, which is she is in the game.
Okay.
So there's a lot of influences there and from the ride. Like the dog with the keys in his mouth,
Yes,
that's directly from the ride.
Yeah, I was going to say that's from the ride. That I knew. I didn't know about the Monkey
The
Island. That makes
mangy
me
cur
happy.
is.
Yes.
Yes. Come back, I didn't mean it. The music in this was beautiful.
Amazing soundtrack.
And so iconic now, right? As soon as you hear that refrain, you're like, oh, Jack Sparrow!
Yep.
Do, 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 do.
And as damsel in distress as she was, I did enjoy her character more than most pirate characters that I've seen before.
Well, because she was extremely active in her own
Yeah,
rescue.
She was active and she was intelligent. She didn't
Yeah, she was
just
clever.
and she fought at the end, which is I've
fought
never
at the
seen in a
beginning.
pirate movie. Yes.
I think it was very clear that Elizabeth Swan was nobody's pushover.
Yeah.
And I mean, when she was on, the pirate boat, and they were being chased by, the Black Pearl, she was the one who was directing the tactics,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not
Which-
the new captain or.
Which I very much appreciated and approved of.
And it makes sense because she's been studying pirates and crazy stuff since she was a kid.
Yeah, she's always been
obsessed with them.
fascinated by it, yeah.
So do you guys think that they were deliberately ramping her up to the really sort of badass character that they made her into in the secondary third film? Or was it just, as a one shot, they were being like, we want her to be strong?
I think
I
they
think it
just
was,
wanted to be
yeah,
strong.
just a one-shot thing. I think they were quite surprised by how popular Pirates became, and that's how the sequels were born.
I don't think
In
they
my
were expecting
opinion.
sequels.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting sequels.
And once Johnny Depp, put the money down on his own island, they're like, well, I guess we better make a second one.
One thing that I really love about this movie is they used real ships. Instead
Yes,
of
they did.
filming CGI or parts of ships, they used real ships, and it really makes it prettier 10, 15 years later.
Yeah, they sailed the, I can't remember where from, but somewhere in the States, the ship that became the Interceptor, they actually sailed her to location.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think
it's
that's
a beautiful ship.
really cool, yes. Gave her a paid job and, yeah. That's true. Special effects were good though.
Yes.
Like even now, I'm like, oh, it's really cool.
The skeletons look cheesy, but I don't think anyone has ever done skeletons that didn't look cheesy.
They weren't that bad.
Most of them, they're walking.
Oh, I didn't even notice. What was cheesy about them when they were
It's just they move unnaturally. So it looks like an old special effect.
Ah.
There isn't like a huge jump between that and the old,
Harryhausen.
yeah. So,
He does have a point there. I noticed that too, especially when they were on land, because
Mhm.
when they're doing that, big scene on the ship where, Elizabeth realizes that, they're all, undead, basically. I mean, people are swinging around, the ship's moving, you don't necessarily realize, but when they're attacking Port Royal, you're like, there's a waddle going on.
but I don't think I've seen skeletons done properly, like to be 100% realistic, and that could just be our heads. Like we might not be able to be capable of seeing skeletons move and think, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe. I don't know, I really liked it. I liked how you could tell who they were even when they were skeletons.
Yeah. The hair helped.
They get their hair out. Yeah. I don't know. I have to say, Jeffrey Rush in this as Captain Barbossa was gold. Such a sarcastic bastard. I loved him. It was awesome. But he's pretty good in pretty much everything he's ever done, so no surprises there.
You were saying you didn't like the guards, the British guards.
No, I liked them. I thought they were
They were very
cliche.
cliche. I liked that there was them, and then there's the two pirates.
Yes, there's two
that were
pirates. They were
perfect foils of each
counterparts.
other.
Yes, I was thinking that too. Yeah, they are.
Those two guards, though, were really set up to generate one-liner dialogue, though.
Yeah.
And I really liked how at the big final battle on the Dauntless, they sort of looked over, saw all the skeletons, shook hands, and then ran in anyway. I was like, oh, yay!
Because you have to expect them to be like, whoa,
Yeah,
we're going
screw
back
that.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we
I
going
was
to
really
do...
impressed with the British. Like, the whole ship fought back on the Dauntless
Yeah.
instead of running away. I was expecting a few
Well,
of
they're
the
not
soldiers
French.
to just go
Sorry.
Quite honestly though, you don't have much choice but to fight, right? Because you're being attacked by zombie pirates. The alternative is
You
to
expect that one
jump
guy
off
to
and
jump off
swim.
board and get away.
To what though? I mean,
Back to the Isle
Dead
of Death.
Island?
Yeah.
one thing sailors know is that the sea is a cold, heartless place. So I'd fight the zombies too.
I was just impressed at how they didn't hesitate. They were like, oh, now we're fighting skeletons. All right.
Are we gonna do best one-liner? Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna go there?
Oh, okay,
So
fine.
many choices.
Okay, I'll start off. So I'll give you guys time to put it together. Will and Jack are on the ship just after they've stolen the interceptor, and they're talking about the fight that just happened in the smithy, and Will's like, in a fair fight, I'd kill you.
Yes, that's
And
what
Jack's like, well, that doesn't give you much incentive to fight
Fight
fair,
fair.
now does it?
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah, that's up there. I can't remember.
I really like the one where Jack, right after the rum's being burnt, walks across the island, sees the ship, he's like,
Oh, there'll be no
There's
living
no
with her.
living
Yes.
Good one.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna come up blank now.
where's the rum gone?
Where's the rum gone? I always say that there. It's my favorite thing, especially at home. Where's the rum gone? Why is the rum gone?
There was an awful lot of memorable moments. St. Patrick's Day, folks.
There was also an impressive lack of parts that made me angry. There's a lot of sometimes story things that will make me angry, or the treatment of certain characters, but this I was really impressed that there was nothing that upset me.
Wait,
Is
how
there
do you
anything? Well, while watching Captain Blood, the way they treat the one girl the whole movie, like really.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. No, there wasn't anything like that for me either.
Martial artists picking apart fight scenes. Was there anything that bothered you?
I'm not a fencer. So no, there wasn't anything really that bothered me, except fencing in general, because it's all very linear.
The fencing was actually very well done.
It was very well done.
I like the Smithy fight where
yes.
they're going side to side, and it was very
cinematic.
good form, especially considering the older movies that I've seen. They were actually fighting with sabers as opposed to foils, which foils just wobble around a
Yes,
lot
yeah.
and it looks kind of silly.
Yeah.
There was only one problem in that fight. For a guy who's a blacksmith and takes that much pride in his swords, the fact that he threw it point first into the door, I was like,
But they had to set it up for later.
Okay, I watched the special features for that because I am a special features whore, and they were like, the directors were like, because they had written the scene where he used the throw later on, and they're like,
Okay.
oh, Will has this ability, let's make him throw a sword here. So it wasn't actually setting anything up, it was just sort of
I like to think
incidental.
it's his practice swords
It's his
that he had there, and not his like real pretty swords.
Still, he's a blacksmith, he could fix it.
my point about the whole problem with him throwing the sword into the door is that if they hadn't have started off the movie with him presenting the sword to the governor and talking about how the tang's the full length of the blade and him being so proud in his craftsmanship, I wouldn't have minded. But
Yeah, but if it came to stopping a pirate or saving one of clearly several swords, which would you do?
But it's ingrained in your weapons training, how you treat your blade. He could have found another way. I mean, yes, it was cinematic, so I'm not going to harbor on it too much, but if we have to nitpick some detail, that's my detail.
Oh, really? That's your detail?
Yeah, that's my detail.
There's some eye-roll worthy moments that would... Like the ending, for example, was very eye-roll worthy. Cute! But I'm like, no, he's a pirate. I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow, you said the ending, and I was like, the treasure chest and the gold and catching it and throwing it. I forgot about the other part.
Oh, yeah, no, the sort
The
of...
forgettable part.
The forgettable part, exactly. Yeah, and then the thing that I nitpicked about the movie is when Barbossa is, spoiler, killed, he drops an apple. It was just involved in a sword fight. Where the frack did that apple come from?
He's been saving it inside his coat for years.
Exactly, so he got shot, looked down and goes, I feel, and I'm like, oh, Barbosa.
Okay,
And then he goes cold, and then falls down, and then an apple rolls out of his hand.
I think it was clearly telegraphed through most of the movie that Captain Barbosa has a severe apple fetish.
He does.
It's true, because he was sitting there and Elizabeth was eating, and he's like, and try the wine, and try the chicken next, and he goes, and try the apples, that one next. And she's like, what the creep?
Yes, I
Telegraph.
totally get that.
Yeah.
But then, did the apple just apparate in his hand the moment he got shot? Appellate, oh god.
Yeah, but you doing it. It's catching, folks.
God.
You watch
Also,
this, you will talk.
Will Turner, when he says, I will accept the consequences of my actions, I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Just take her and jump and go on the pirate ship, you'll both be happier. Yeah, so those were the moments that I was nitpicking. The sword throw didn't even come into it. By the way, did anyone recognize Anna Maria? The woman who Jack stole the sinking boat from.
Oh, Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
Yes.
From Star Trek.
Well, yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Us.
The new Star Trek. Where are my priorities?
I was watching it again, and I'm like, wait, she looks really familiar. Who is that?
My wife was like, oh yeah, you remember Zoe Saldana. I was like, there's another girl in Pirates? What? Totally forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I was impressed on for small continuity problems is whatever thing that Elizabeth Swann went through in fleeing Port Royal and getting put on a pirate ship, before her dinner with Barbosa, she managed to refresh her makeup beautifully in that dark pirate ship.
Yes, well, we can't have Keira Knightley looking anything less than perfect. She is the heroine after all, the hero. I speak. Alright, I think we'll go to out of 5 stars now. What do you think?
I give it 4. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun movie with great music, great visuals. I'll watch it again.
Solid 4.
3.5. Which is pretty good. What? It's good. It's good. It was a really entertaining movie. It had really, really, really cheesy moments where I just wanted to, roll my eyes and throw popcorn at the screen. But it was very entertaining and the music was very good. So yeah, 3.5. Not bad. Alright, special guest Mr. Rob. Would you like to pick the next movie?
I think I will.
Akira.
Oh my god. Alien. 1979.
Yes. Back to the depressing crap.
Oh, and if we're really, really lucky, maybe they'll play Aliens the board game after the next...
There's a board game?
There's a board game.
I half expected you to say drinking game.
You can do that, but it's going to wreck you worse than St. Patrick's Day.
I avoid St. Patrick's Day. So.
She says in a pub on St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day Eve.
Yeah.
Eve, oh.
This is the girl who, wrote a book where the characters are speaking Welsh and it's perfect and that.
What?
But it's pre-Christian.
Anyway.
Her book stuff is pre-Christian.
So Alien in a fortnight. Next week we will be reviewing the Phantom Tollbooth, the book. So stay tuned for that. If you would like to get involved in the conversation, leave a comment down below about the movie, or if you'd like to leave a suggestion for the next movie, you can do that by tweeting Silver Stag Studio with the hashtag NATRT Film. See you next week. Bye!